Don't sleep on this information. When the storms hit, you will need to know what to do. I say this not to promote fear, but to spread along self-preservation information.
This is Patar Ray Baba L. How is everybody doing today? I'm coming back again with this self-preservation knowledge, this information that went around America, several different places, teaching about basic self-preservation skills. I don't really like to call it survival skills because I don't like to stir up people to think that this is about survival of the fittest and to scare them into doing anything. I just want them to know that the earth is going through a natural process. As a result of going through a natural process, there are some things that we should know and we should be trying to get attuned to nature so that we can live in it and be the ones who actually become one with it in a sense, while everyone else they're going to be lost, especially people who don't think this is serious, because I've learned that last year, well this year actually, but I've learned, because this is almost the end of the year, but I've learned that most people don't take this serious. Most people say they think they will survive, and I want to bring a reminder that self-preservation knowledge is essential. It's what all of the most of the ancient indigenous cultures knew. We knew how to survive in the wilderness. We knew what plants to pick. We knew what plants to not touch. We knew how to cultivate land. We knew how to live in certain environments and what was conducive to those environments for us to live to our highest capacity. We were taken away from nature, and things was replaced with grocery stores and convenience stores, and that's who we go to for food. So we have no idea, well, most of us have no idea what it takes to survive without a supermarket or a Walmart or a Giant, some type of grocery store. We don't know. If the water in our houses get cut off, most of us don't know how to survive. We don't know how to live. We don't know where to get the water from. We don't know how to clean the water and certain things like that. So this information is essential to living when a natural or unnatural catastrophe happens. For tornado, an earthquake, a tsunami, a hurricane, things that usually nowadays, once they hit, people don't usually know what to do. They don't know about a survival plan. Even simple things that would get them through the first 3 days, they have no clue, because those first 3 days are essential. That first week is essential, especially because the human body needs water. And most people are living luxurious lives even in the recession and don't realize it. So when things like this strike out, they have no idea what to do, even though they think now in their minds that for some reason at that time they will know exactly what to do. Hurricane Katrina is a great reminder of people not having no clue what to do. We talking about the people on the planet that's been through, especially black people or melanated people, that's been through slavery, that's been through suffering. I mean, we survived through everything, but when Hurricane Katrina hit, people had no idea what to do really. Essentially, they were lost. I mean, really lost. People, many lives were lost. People had no idea. I mean, it was plants right where they were at. It was woods and wilderness right where they were at, and they did not know what to eat. They were breaking in grocery stores. Remember, they called them looters and things like that. They had to break in grocery stores to get food. And you gotta remember, this food spoils after a certain period of time, so there was really not much they can do without that self-preservation knowledge. So I'm going to get into the self-preservation knowledge, plus I'm going to get into the seriousness of what happens when a natural or unnatural catastrophe hits. 1, here's a question to anybody. Can you identify the plants in your own yard, in your own lawn, or in your own neighborhood? Can you identify the plants that are edible that you can eat in your own neighborhood? If you can't, you need to learn this knowledge. This is no joke. If you cannot identify those plants, don't think you're going to go and pillage or go and just break in every grocery store. I mean, you're going to be competing with people at this time. And I'm not saying it's about competing, because you would want other people to know so you all can share in the natural resources or the natural foods that's right in your own neighborhoods. But if you don't know this, you're going to go, insane. I've seen the videos. Those people went insane. I did the nature tours with certain people, and they did not have any clue what to eat whatsoever. Say the natural catastrophes wiped out all the properties, the houses, everything. And it's right near winter, and the winter strikes. There's no place for you to go, and people are dying. Nobody's really living up to the standards that they would have lived when those houses and those resources were there. Now, walking in the snow, anybody who ever walked in the cold knows eventually you tire out because of the coldness, how it works with the muscles, and how you eventually you get cold and you freeze. It's common sense. Now, you're walking in the snow, your feet, even if you have on boots, your feet is going under the snow and you're becoming wet, which helps hypothermia set in even quicker, which leads to frostbite. And I mean terrible frostbite to the point where people's limbs, legs, arms, feet have to get cut off. Now, most people don't know, and it will slow you down immensely. Now, what most people don't know is you can take wood, sticks, twigs, whatever, and make snowshoes. These snowshoes keep your feet on top of the snow instead of in it or under it. It's just simple things like this that people don't know about that is essential to self-preservation living. Another thing is most people don't know how to rid their bodies of toxins. They don't know what to take. Like, say for instance, you don't identify a plant correctly, and it poisons your system. It makes it toxic. How do you get rid of those toxins? There's many ways that most people don't know. Within the self-preservation course, I go through the different ways to rid your body of these poisons or toxins so you could survive, because I have done it. You know, I was naive, I admit. When I first started in this self-preservation knowledge, I was naive. Got some books, thought I could identify the plants, and I end up taking the wrong plant. It poisoned my system. Now, luckily, I knew about how to get rid of the toxins, but if I didn't, that would have been my life. And I really thought I knew these plants at this time. That's how naive I was. But when I took it, it was one that made me vomit. But I guess it gathers up all the toxins before it gets into the internal organs to fully poison you, and it came up out of me. So I was lucky at that time, but there are ways to rid the bodies of toxins just in case you eat something poisonous. Another thing is, what if tornadoes hit your geographical area, wherever you live, that area, or your city, your entire city, for like 3 days straight? What will you do? No electricity, So you can't, no gas, because power's knocked out, no anything. Your refrigerator, your food, the lights went out, your food's gonna spoil you. What do you do to survive? What do you do to live those next 3 days? How do you live these next 3 days? And people keep telling me, oh, 3 days ain't anything. I'm telling you, we live in luxury right now. Straight luxury. We had toilet paper, toothpaste, electricity, TV. We don't know what we'll do after 3 days. What at all? And after seeing the Hurricane Katrina, people were fighting people. People was doing what it took for them to feel like they had to survive. So we have to take these things serious. You don't know what you'll do without toilet paper. You don't know how, people don't understand how essential things like toilet paper is. A toothbrush, a spoon and a fork. We don't know how essential these things is until they're gone. You know, most people don't want to wipe their behinds with leaves. And then not knowing what leaves could carry bacteria, they wipe themselves with leaves they have no idea and catch a bacteria infection. Don't know how to get rid of the bacteria infection. Things like this are essential. This is self-preservation knowledge right here. Another one is, what if a tsunami was forecast to hit your state or your city, town, all those surrounding areas? What if it was forecast to hit within the next 3 or 4 days? Where would you go to survive or to live through it? Where would you go? What places would you want to not go to? See, these are things that's essential to self-preservation knowledge. These are the things that's essential to living without struggle when things around you change suddenly. These are sudden changes. These are not gradual changes. These are changes that happen just like, just like that. So if you don't know where to go, what are you going to do?
Okay, we can't forget that during Hurricane Katrina, first of all, FEMA and the other places that was supposed to help, local government, mayor, governor, whatever, none of them helped. They let these people go days on, and they told them they wasn't going to be able to help them. So let's hear that. But none of them helped. Even when it was time for them to help, they could have supposedly helped. It didn't happen. During Hurricane Katrina, they blew the levee to protect richer neighborhoods. I mean, they literally, the government there, whoever it was, literally blew up the levee. Now, if you don't know what a levee is an embankment built to prevent the overflow of a river. Basically, if there's an overflow in the river, the levee will protect the cities or the towns or whatever's right behind it or before from being flooded to the point of no return. Well, if you hear the stories of local people during Hurricane Katrina, these people literally blew up the levees.
Was it solely the water that broke the levee, or was it the force of this barge that now sits where homes once did? Joe Edwards says neither. People are so bitter, so disenfranchised in this neighborhood, they actually think the city did it, blowing up the levee to save richer neighborhoods like the French Quarter. So you're convinced?
I noticed it happened.
That they broke the levee on purpose?
They blew it.
They bombed the side of that canal. They did that. Yeah, they did that. You can't murder babies and old people and have no semblance of peace in your life.
A levee is a man-made structure, usually an earthen embankment, that protects the communities from flood risk. Here you have an earthen embankment levee. You have the crown on top. You have the levee slopes on either side, and then you have the levee tows on both the land side and the river side. Usually what you might see is grass on the riverside and on the landside slopes. This is to protect from erosion. You could also have, on the riverward slope, you could have large rocks, usually called riprap.
Also, you have to recall all the people that were sick. You have people that's, especially in the black community, that's on dialysis, breathing machines for oxygen because they don't take care of themselves correctly. A lot of people born with asthma, so you gotta imagine how people who have sicknesses, sickle cell anemia and all this, how they have to try to survive when there's no air conditioning, when the heat's too harsh, when there's no food and no water to drink. These are the first people to go. The last time I said this, when I was doing some of my classes on self-preservation knowledge, a lot of black people literally took this as disrespect. Like, I'm telling them the facts. These are the first people that usually go. I'm a person that was born with asthma. I had to figure out what plants neutralizer made my lungs work and function better to take away the inflammation and all the things that asthma causes in order to breathe. I mean, this is my first year not using an inhaler since I was 15. I'm 35 now. So this lets you know how important self-preservation information is. Then those who depend on welfare are some of the people that's going to go too. This is just the sad reality of it. Don't get mad because I'm saying this because these are the people, I'm not saying all, but these are usually the people that's dependent. So being in a dependency state, when things like this happens, they're waiting on other people to come and rescue them. They have no self-preservation knowledge whatsoever, and they usually go and perish just as fast as the people who are sick, that may have asthma, diabetes, sickle cell anemia, certain things of that nature.
Look how hot he is. He's not waking up very easy. This is not about low income. It's not about rich people, poor people. It's about people. Oh, Jesus.
Relax, darling. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. I'm breathing, bro. Breathe, then. Breathe, baby. Breathe, bro. It's going to be all right. Why nobody can get no help down here for these people, bro? They got children out here. They got pregnant women out here. They won't even bring water. They won't bring food. You got to go steal water to drink to survive out here.
We need help, sir. We really do. We need help. They're not doing nothing. They're not telling us nothing. They're not doing nothing. We've been out looking at these old people. They're out here without their medication. They're in wheelchairs. We need help, sir. We really need help.
National Guard, the mayor, they got us up here, left us up here like that.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm not doing good.
What happened?
The house just split in half.
Your house split in half?
I have Hollingham, we got up in the roof, all the way to the roof, and water came in house just divided.
Who was at your house with you?
My wife.
Where is she now?
Can't find her body. She gone.
You can't find your wife?
She told me, but she told me I hold her hand tight like I could. And she told me, you can't hold her. She said, take care of the kids and the grandkids and my kids.
What's your wife's name in case we can put this out there?
Tony Jackson.
Okay, and what's your name?
Harvey Jackson.
Where are you guys going?
We don't know where I'm going. I'm lost. That's all I had. That's all I had.
Tell me about your family. Where are they now?
Well, we scattered all over. We scattered all over.